Happy Super Bowl Sunday out there in Vol Nation. This is Frank, House of Orange, coming at you. Dropped next day basketball video this morning. We'll talk a little baseball right now as Tennessee baseball just wrapped up the 3-game pizza series this weekend. A little bit more about what that is. That is really kind of your conclusion to the preseason. That's your set of scrimmages. A lot of times, two teams will do them in the fall as kind of the wrapping up fall ball or what have you. But in this case, for Tennessee Pizza Series, it's where they do it's basically game like scenarios, music, all that walk up music playing coming out of the bullpen. They play everything based on what I've researched on it, based on people I've talked to. It's very game like scenarios and how they did it. So the way Tennessee, based on everything I saw on this, you kind of had your main lineup on one team, and then you had your main pitchers on the opposite team. That looks to me how it went this weekend. Now it looked like there were some guys who shifted back and forth on the team. Some would play with what looks to be your starters at some point. Some played with the guys that weren't starters, but a lot to take away from it this weekend. And I was really kind of surprised because my thinking was that how you see the pitchers go out is how it'll be next weekend. If it plays out like they did this weekend, then your weekend rotation to start is Liam Doyle, Marcus Phillips, Dylan Loy. I was totally I've mentioned Loy. I did not see Phillips coming in on it. Eric Kane, VolQuest.com said, based on what he was hearing, he said this yesterday, that Phillips is in line to start on that. We'll see. We'll see on that. Because my projection was Doyle, in no particular order. Doyle, Snead, Tegan Kuntz. And we'll kind of see how it goes. I kind of thought Snead might get that shot in the rotation, and not say he doesn't, not say he's not in it next weekend. But really, I don't know. I guess this weekend leaves me with some questions on it. But one thing I've noticed based on a couple nights, it looks like Ryan Combs may be your closer. Luke Payne looked pretty good. Stone Lawless had home runs Friday and Saturday. Talked about Stone Lawless a lot. It's going to be hard to keep. There's this phrase, it's going to be hard to keep him out of lineup. It's going to be used often with him. Freshman Manny Marin. Now, these are in no particular order as I'm just kind of hitting some guys along the way. Manny Marin, I thought had a good weekend. Chris Newstrom's a guy that doesn't get talked about enough. He's a freshman. He's a utility guy. He can play the infield. He can play the outfield. He can catch. And I've been told he's a really good catcher as well. He had a good weekend as well. He led off today against Brandon Arvidsson with a home run. And I think it was Ben McKee, 24/7, said yesterday, talking about Newstrom. So in game 2 of the Pizza Series, Levi Clark, freshman, hit a 3-run walk-off bomb off of Andrew Banky. And he had said that Chris Newstrom was angry after. I love it. I love it. Because me as a player, me as, when I've coached, I absolutely hate to lose. Hate to lose on it. There's nights if you get drilled, it is what it is. Absolutely hate losing close games. Hate it more than anything. These freshmen, man, these freshmen today come out guns blazing. You had Newstrom with a home run. Jackson Walker hit a home run off Arvidsson today. Jackson Walker had 2 good days in a row based on what I've seen. He's freshman out of Loudon or around Knoxville. I can't remember how it is, Loudon High School or what, off the top of my head here, but he had a couple good days. Top 100 player coming in out of high school. To me, I think at this point, if you're a veteran guy, if you don't step up, and I'm going to talk about a couple guys here in a minute, there's going to be some freshmen waiting to take your spot. And looking at my concerns, Dalton Bargo, Reese Chapman, based on what I saw this weekend, both had rough weekends. And this is 2 guys that everybody's expecting to take that step. Now, keep in mind, they're facing some of the best pitching in the country in their own staff right now. So you go face a Hofstra or somebody, yeah, it's going to be a whole lot less. You go face other SEC staffs, how are you going to fare against those? Are their staffs as good as Tennessee's? I don't know if there is. Maybe there's some guys who are top end, better. I just don't see how you're going to face a more, what's the word I'm looking for? A more talented, this pitching staff's loaded with talent. How are they going to utilize them is the question to me. And I'm not even factoring right now AJ Russell in, as he's probably your best pitcher. And if he's good to go around SEC play, how do they use him? Do they ease him back in to it or what? I would go, my rotation would be Doyle, Snead, Coons. You get a guy like Coons on campus, that talented, I can't imagine we're wasting him for just one inning on the weekends. Part of me wants to say today they've seen what they needed to with him, because you had Nick Abraham through 5 innings, Austin Hundley through 4. Maybe that's guys they want to see a little bit more out of, because Coons and Doyle have been, not in that particular, just in general, they've been your two guys that pretty much every time they've taken the mound, it's been good numbers that they've looked good. How do they do? Are they managing it along the way? I don't know. That's we'll see. I mean, I'm going to see how the pitching goes. I've watched this staff mess up pitching staffs before on it, and I'm not afraid to call that. Love Tony Vitello, his staff, everything they've done. They're like any, though. They make mistakes sometimes. We're going to see how this goes with this. Like I said, Bargo, Chapman, the fact that they both had a hit today, but other than that, not much. Andrew Banky got lit for 6 runs yesterday against the Fred. No, he was facing their main lineup. That was part of it. But looking at the lineups over the few days, and I like this. Dean Curley leading off, Gavin Keelan hitting second. They've been rotating them back and forth between second and short. It's like every inning they've been rotating back and forth. I like that. I love it. You guys know last year I was a big-time advocate from the get-go of Christian Moore leading off. I said, I want my dude leading off. Finally, we got to that point and never looked back. Me, Curley, Keelan, I wouldn't have a problem if they were flip-flop. I wouldn't have a problem with Jay Abernathy leading off with his speed, but is Jay Abernathy a better hitter than Dean Curley or Gavin Keelan, though? Too, Jay Abernathy gives you a whole lot of things, and that's freshman. He's going to play left field. I'm pretty sure of that. Where do you hit him, though? There's a lot of different things. You could go with Hunter Inslee, hit third consistently. I don't know that. I would not move him out of the 5th hole. When he got moved to the 5th hole last year, he flourished and was huge in it. I would not mess with that. I just wouldn't. As far as who hits third, we'll debate this tomorrow night as we're going to do our live baseball show tomorrow night, wrapping up. Andrew Fisher, 4. I wouldn't have a problem with Andrew Fisher hitting third. Now, if Alberto Osuna, I don't think it's if, when he forces his way into lineup, maybe you go Curley, Keelan, Osuna, Fisher, Inslee to me. Again, love Hunter Inslee as a player. I don't like him in that top 3 line. I just don't. Nothing against him. I like him in that 5 hole where they put him last year and where he flourished with that. It was pretty. They moved around. Peebles hit 4th. One day you had Clark hit 4th. That was yesterday when he hit the walk-off bomb. Levi Clark's going to be hard to keep out of the lineup. I'm just telling you. He's going to be hard to keep out of the lineup. Today they had Dalton Bargo there. That ain't going to fly. I'm just telling you. I mean, to me, I thought Fisher was supposed to have scrimmaged today, but he did not. Depend on who's in, because you've got a lot of guys I mean, I thought it was an interesting day. They had Levi Clark in right field, and they had Reese Chapman playing some center, Hunter Ensley as well. I think they're preparing in case a Chapman or a Bargo or something doesn't get it done to plate. Because we saw it last year. Everybody's picking Reese Chapman to be that breakout guy. We'll see. I mean, I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock into this weekend, but it does give you concern against that high level pitching like that. They still not making that contact. But yeah, just observations from the weekend. I love it with Curly Keelan. That's, and then where do you go from there? Fisher, got to get him healthy. Cannon Peebles is DH'd all weekend. If Cannon Peebles is DH'ing, to me, I mean, Dalton Bargo's been catcher. They go run him out, or to me, I think you got to put Stone Lawless at catcher. Who plays first? Because Fisher's been playing some first base. How does that affect things if Fisher's on third? Does Manny Moran go to third? Is Ariel Antigua get in somewhere? It's going to be, they have so many options with this team, so many options with it. But, just based on the 3 days, Doyle, great outing Friday when they did the pizza series. Braden Sharp, I'm just going through guys who stood out on Saturday, went 2 innings, 1K, no runs. Looking at some more along the way. I mean, Phillips went 4 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, no walks in 4 innings and 5 Ks. That's a big time positive for this staff. Nate Snead, 4 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs. And then, like I said, Banky went a third of an inning, 2 hits, 6 runs, 2 walks. Only one of the runs was earned, though. So obviously the defense behind him did not get the job done. Like I said, Doyle, 4 1/3, 1 hit, 6 strikeouts. Tanner Franklin, 3 2/3. Ryan Combs threw a couple innings on the weekend. He did give up a tying run today, but then he struck out Dalton Bargo to end the series. Sharman's the guy I've talked about. He was a little iffy on Friday. Luke Payne, talked about Luke Payne. His outings have kept getting better. He's had some really good outings here in preseason. 2 innings, 4 strikeouts on Friday for him. Braden Krenzel went an inning Friday. I think you'll see him some. I think he's one of the freshman pitchers not getting mentioned enough. I really do. And then today, I mean, Arvidsson in 1 inning gave up 4 runs. Nick Abraham went 5 innings, gave up 3. Tanner Wiggins went an inning, no runs. Luke Payne went another inning today, 1 strikeout, no runs. Krenzel, no runs again today in his outing. Loy started 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 run. Austin Hunley, I saw the guys, Ryan Shumpert of Rocky Top Insider, Mike Wilson, Knoxville News, both said Hunley looked pretty good after the first inning on it. Thomas Crabtree, 2 innings, a hit and a run. Tegan Coons went 1 inning, 1 strikeout, and Mike Wilson referred to it, said Coons was electric, and he mowed down Dalton Bargo, Levi Clark, and Manny Moran on it. So I know he struck out Levi Clark, and then Ryan Combs did give up a run as the closer, but he struck out Dalton Bargo when they went to extras on. This team's loaded, man. It's going to be really interesting to see how they manage it, and but it'll be fun. And I don't think we'll learn a whole lot on that until we get into SEC play, as that's where we've seen them make changes the last couple of years with especially the pitching and, make some tweaks to the batting lineup as well. But if you're a Tennessee baseball fan, man, this team just reloads at this point. There's no rebuild with it. I know you lost a ton of good players last year, but this is a loaded baseball team, and it's going to take a hell of an effort to beat this team this year, especially you get back a healthy A.J. Russell. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're going to be a strong contender to repeat as national champions. This is Frank, House of Orange. Have a great evening. Go Vols.